Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Paula, and today I'm going to be doing a what I eat in a day video. I'll be sharing my meals throughout the day today, everything that I eat and drink on a low carb ketogenic diet. Right now I have some coffee. This is my second cup of coffee this morning. Usually I have 2 cups of coffee in the morning, and I do include a little bit of cream in my coffee in the mornings, and that's what I have first thing. And then usually after I have a couple of cups of coffee, I will get my big giant 30-ounce tumbler of water, and I'll mix in some electrolytes and I will drink that down. And then I will also drink water throughout the day. I know a lot of times when I am doing these videos, I don't mention the water that I'm drinking. I just show you the coffee and the Zevias and all the other things that I drink, but I do drink water throughout the day. I think it is super important to drink water all day long. I think it's also important to include electrolytes in your water at least once a day. Callie making an entrance. My cat, she has to make sure that she's in every single video. For the first portion of this video, I want to talk to you about keeping keto simple. Keto, the ketogenic diet, is very simple, but I think that it can very easily be overcomplicated. Yesterday, I had a wonderful conversation with one of my clients. If you're watching, you know who you are. I really enjoyed our conversation yesterday. We talked a little bit about how simple this diet can be. When I started this channel a couple of years ago, I kept it very simple. And even to this day, I still keep it very simple. I don't track my foods. I don't feel it's necessary for myself to track my foods, but I know there are people that need to track their foods. I think it all depends on a person's personality, on their behaviors, on any kind of issues they might be having with food addiction. I think that there are definitely situations when you need to track your food. And usually when I start someone out on one of my coaching programs, I will have them track for at least a week or so because I want them to see where they're at. I want to use those macros as a guide just to kind of see if they're under eating, if they're overeating, that kind of thing. But if that person doesn't want to continue to track, then we talk about further things. So basically, I like to keep it very simple, keep my carbs very low. I stay under 20 total grams of carbs per day. When I first started 3 years ago, I was not perfectly under 20 total grams. I did count total grams always. I never counted net carbs when I was trying to get it right and learning about the carbohydrates in food and different foods that I ate and which ones I needed to omit and bring down, all of that. As time has gone by, I have found it very easy to keep my carb count very low. And I do that by very closely sticking to animal-based products. I do eat a ton of meat. My new shirt, I just love it. It says my food pyramid, and it's got a chicken, and it's got a pig, and it's got a cow. That's basically what I eat is meat. And I try to keep my ingredients very, very clean. Not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect, but I do my best. I have a saying that I like to say, and that is do my best and let God do the rest. So I really do my best to try to keep those ingredients clean. Sometimes when we go out to restaurants, I can't control that. I can voice and ask questions, but when you're out to eat, you cannot completely control ingredients. But for the most part at home, I read labels and I try my best to keep everything as clean as possible. Again, not perfect. So I eat very heavy meat based. I do eat some vegetables. I enjoy the variety of vegetables. I have definitely gone down over the years in the amount of vegetables that I eat, but I definitely still enjoy having some vegetables. Yesterday I had for dinner, for instance, I had a steak and I had bread cheese, which is a chunk of cheese from Aldi that you air fry. And I do have dairy. And I had a little bit of asparagus on the side, drizzled with some olive oil and some salt, and it was delicious. But the bulk of my plate was meat. I don't eat as much dairy as I used to. When I first started keto, I did cheese, everything. You can really overdo cheese if you're not careful because cheese is so delicious. A lot of my recipes in the very beginning had tons and tons of cheese in them, but it was a transition. And like I said, there was no perfection. There was just learning as I was going along. And so as I have kind of evolved down the way, I have lessened the amount of dairy that I have, but I still enjoy some dairy. And I also try my hardest to omit seed oils. Again, restaurants, you can't control that completely, but at home, we don't buy seed oils. We don't buy any packaged foods that have soybean oil or canola oil or any of those inflammatory oils that are processed from seeds. They're just not good for you. And so I have done my best to omit seed oils. And then I also don't eat ultra high processed foods. I do eat processed foods, but I make sure that the ingredients in the processed foods are clean. For instance, I like bacon. Bacon is a processed food, but I make sure I find the cleanest ingredient bacon, the lowest sugar bacon. I like to have lunch meat occasionally. I like to roll up turkey breast and eat lunch meat, but I make sure again that I check the ingredients. The ingredients are minimal and they are all, I know what they are and I can pronounce them. They're not these big words that I don't know what they are. So I do my best, again, to read the ingredients and make sure that I am eating the cleanest ingredient possible. So I am a huge fan of keeping keto simple. And I think the most important thing is to keep your carb count down. And if you are just starting out, you've never done this before, and you're on the standard American diet, you may already be eating a couple 100 grams of carbs per day. So take it down to 100 if you are used to eating way more than 100. Take it down to 100 grams of carbs per day. And then after a couple of weeks, take it down to 75. And then after a couple of weeks of doing that, take it down to 50. And do your best to get close to 20 total grams. And when you get your carbs down that low and you're eating a meat-based diet, you will go into ketosis and your body will burn its body fat for energy instead of carbohydrates, because the body loves burning carbohydrates. It's so easy to burn carbohydrates. And so when you feed your body carbohydrates, it's going to burn those carbohydrates above anything else. So if you are depleting your body of carbohydrates, then your body has no choice but to burn the fat that's stored in your body for fuel. If you're getting started on this, the most important thing is to bring your carb count down as low as you can get it, as close to 20 grams per day total as you can. And it probably won't happen for most people overnight. For most people, it will take some time to get down to that number. So when you're used to eating that many carbs, your body will transition and your body will start to flush water. You will start to have dehydration symptoms, and you will need to make sure that you are getting electrolytes to replenish the electrolytes that are lost when you flush water. There is one product that I do recommend for everyone when you are starting out this way of eating. That is taking electrolytes. When you flush that water, your body starts to lose electrolytes right along with that water as well. And if you don't replace those electrolytes, you are at risk for having keto flu symptoms. Basically, keto flu symptoms are dehydration symptoms. You start to experience headaches, fatigue, muscle cramps. When you drink electrolytes, it really helps combat those symptoms. The electrolytes that I recommend are always Element. I still, after 3 years, drink Element every single day, at least one packet. And these are very clean in ingredients. There's a science-backed ratio of sodium, magnesium, and potassium. This will help replenish your electrolytes when you have dehydration symptoms. They also have some delicious flavors that can help when you're having sweet cravings. You drink some of this, and a lot of times, like this is raspberry, and just that little bit of sweetness can help to take that little edge off when you're having sweet cravings. So Element has been so generous to offer my subscribers a special link. If you go to the link that is right here on the screen at drinkelement.com/low carb revelation, it is down below this video at the top of the description box. You can click on that link, go over to Element's website, make a purchase of anything on the website, and Element will send you a free sample pack like this with your order. And there are 8 different flavors in here, and one of them is even unflavored. In case you don't like any flavors at all, you can try that. Thank you, Element, for sponsoring this portion of the video. Something that I recommend if you're doing this for the first time, get started gradually and working on getting those carbs down as low as you can. Don't worry so much about the ingredients and all of that in the very beginning. Just work on getting your carbs very, very low. Once you get your carbs down really low, then you can start cleaning up your ingredients and making sure that you are eliminating things that have chemicals in them, that you are eliminating seed oils, you are eliminating highly processed foods. All of those things can be just like the carbs. They can be done gradually, but the key is consistency. You want to trend going downward in carbs. You want to trend going downward in the processed foods. You want to always be trending going downward to eating clean, low carb, whole 1 ingredient foods. That's what you want to work yourself down to. So for me, it's all about keeping it simple. I think that most people find that if they try it and they work on it slowly, I think that they find that it is something that is very doable. The closer that you are getting down to that 20 total grams, the better you're going to feel. That means eliminating a lot of grains, sugar, which is a big one, potatoes, pasta, anything that has a very high carbohydrate count, you do not want to have. You want to do your best to stay away from those foods and keep as close to animal-based as you can, having some low-carb vegetables. If you want to have some dairy, include dairy, but if you feel like you are having some inflammation problems or gut problems or something like that, then maybe eliminate dairy for a while and then see how you do without dairy. Some people that I coach don't do dairy, and some people that I coach do dairy, and it just depends on how dairy makes you feel. And so it's a process, it's a journey, and I believe in keeping it very simple because I feel that that is the best way that people are going to be able to follow it when it's simple. So I'm going to recap everything that I talked about. Grab an ink pen and write these things down. The number one thing that you can do to keep keto simple is to keep your carbs as close to 20 total grams of carbs per day as possible. And like I stated earlier in the video, that might not always happen right away. You might have to work yourself down, but as long as you're trending downward in your carb count, that's what you want to do. You want to work on bringing those carbs low. The second thing that you want to do is to make sure that you are getting plenty of protein and healthy fats. If that is the focus, like if you fill a plate, a dinner plate, a breakfast plate, whatever kind of plate, you want to make sure that the biggest portion on that plate is meat. I know that we have been taught that you need to eat the piece of meat that is the size of the palm of your hand. Throw that out the window. You need to make sure that you have enough meat on your plate. You want to nourish your body, and protein and fat is what it's going to take to help you feel satiated and keep you from overeating and eating too many things. And then if you want to have a little bit of vegetables on the plate, it's up to you. You can completely go carnivore if you want, but if you need that little variety of vegetables, have a little side salad or have some green beans or have some asparagus or some broccoli or something on the side, but make sure that your meat is twice as big as your portion of vegetables, okay? If you use cheese, you wanna make sure that your cheese is a garnish. Now, a garnish is just a little sprinkle, just a little bit. So let's say you wanna have a little bit of steamed broccoli, you can sprinkle a little bit of cheese on there and let it melt down, and it'll be so good, but you don't have to have gobs of cheese on it stretching all over the place. You just don't need it in order to enjoy the cheese. The third thing that you want to do as much as you can, the best you can, that is eliminate seed oils. Seed oils are very inflammatory. Instead of seed oils, you want to use animal-based fats to cook in. That is butter, bacon grease, beef tallow, lard, anything that comes from an animal that is a cooking oil, you can use it. You also can use olive oil if you want something lighter. You can use olive oil in your dressings. You can use olive oil. It is not processed the same way that seed oils are. Olive oil is pressed from olives, and it is not bad for you at all. You just want to make sure that you are getting a real, true olive oil, because there are olive oils out there that are mixed with seed oils. So you want to do your research and make sure you're getting pure olive oil. Avocado oil, same way, pressed from avocados. You can use avocado oil. It has a high temperature smoking point. You can use it for frying things in. It's very good. Fourth thing that you want to do is make sure that you are reading all of the ingredients on your packaged foods. The first thing you want to look at is to see if there is any long words that you do not know what they are, you do not know how to pronounce them. A lot of them are sugar in disguise. So you want to make sure that you know what the ingredients are. You want to stay away from sugar, you want to stay away from grains, anything like that. Make sure that the ingredients on the package are minimal, like a little short list, not a long list, and they are things that you can pronounce, and that they are sugar-free. Carbs are very low, okay? And I'm talking about total carbs. You want to make sure that you are staying away from highly processed foods, especially the foods that say keto friendly on them, and they have like 4 grams of net carbs, but if you look at the back, it has 26 total carbs on it. You just want to make sure you stay away from those foods. If you eat those foods, then count the total carbs on them, not the net carbs. A lot of them are really addictive because of the ingredients in them, and you can overeat a lot of them because they are good. They taste good. I'm talking about the store-bought keto fat bombs and the store-bought keto protein bars. All of those things, you can really overdo them because they taste like candy bars. Number 5, we're going to talk about dairy. If you decide you want to have dairy, you need to make sure that it's not a trigger food for you, and it's not going to be something that is going to make you want more and more and more. If you eat something and you can't stop thinking about it and you got to go back to the refrigerator and get more and keep going back and getting more, that's a trigger food. So if it's like that for you, then you need to try to eliminate those things. Anything that will trigger you, that goes for sweeteners too, like stevia sweeteners and monk fruit sweeteners. If they cause you to not be able to control yourself, you just want to have more and more and more, you want to eliminate them. And it will be hard at first, but the longer you go without them, the better you will do and the better you will feel. But if you decide to include dairy and you can control yourself around it, and you can just have a little bit here and there, a little splash of heavy cream in your coffee, a little bit of cheese on top of your burger, then my recommendation is to make sure that you are looking at the portion size on the carton or the package, and you are actually looking at the carb count on that portion size. So if you're having a couple of slices of cheese on a couple of cheeseburgers, there's going to be a little bit of a carb count in there. So you want to make sure that you are looking at how much you're having and the carb count in that, and make sure that you're not overdoing it, because it's very easy to reach into a bag of cheese and just grab a handful and just throw it on your food, or take a carton of heavy cream and just dump it in without measuring it, thinking you're not having a lot. But dairy, I recommend that is something that you measure out and really learn the portion sizes of it, because it's something that can be overdone very easily. So those are my 5 tips for keeping keto simple. Don't overthink it. It is a process of elimination. It's a journey. It takes time. It takes time for your body to adapt. It takes time for all of it. As you go along this journey, you will look back to when you first started, and you will notice how much better you are feeling. And it's just a great journey. I highly recommend it. So now I'm going to show you what I'm eating today. I'll see you in a few.
All right, here's my breakfast. I'm having 3 scrambled eggs with a little bit of cheese. I'm using Gouda.
And this is scrambled in butter with some salt. I have a piece of protein sparing bread here. This is made out of egg white powder, and it's virtually zero carb. And I have some butter on there with a little bit of cinnamon and some monk fruit sweetener that I mixed up here. Ed has the same thing, but I've added a couple of kielbasa for him. So this is what we're gonna have for our first meal. 2:30, and I am in the town of West Branch. I come here when I need to go to Aldi, Meijer, Walmart. This is where all the big stores are. Our little small town only has a couple of little small town grocery stores. I can't always find some of the products that I use, so I have all my groceries in the back, and I just stopped at Tim Hortons. I have 2 large coffees over here in my cup holders, one for me, one for Ed. By the time I get home, he's gonna have to warm his up because it's about a 30-minute drive, but I'm gonna bring him it anyways. And kind of snacky. I keep beef sticks in my purse all the time, and this is a Chomps jalapeno beef stick. When I go home, I'll make sure that I get another one out of the cabinet and put it in my purse. I always try to keep 1 or 2 of these in my purse at all times, because on occasions like this, when I'm out running and I want something, I'll have this instead of stopping for something fast, and I'm not so happy that I did that afterwards. So I'm gonna have this, and then I'm gonna drink my coffee. I'm gonna head back home. I'm gonna be making chicken tonight for dinner, so stay tuned for that. I'll see you soon. I am back, and I'm starting dinner. I have 2 very large bone-in, skin-on chicken breast. I went to 3 different stores to find bone-in because I like it when I air fry it this way with the bone. It just tastes good, in my opinion. And I have the skin on, and I have some olive oil here that I'm gonna just spray on top of each one of these. This is my Z-Star air fryer, and I'm gonna coat on top some olive oil, and then I'm going to sprinkle some of this Redmond's organic seasoned salt on top of each one. These are really thick, and so these are gonna take a little time to cook. Put these on 30 minutes, and I'll just check them after about 20 minutes and see how they're doing, and I'll be back. Found something today at the store. Actually, one of my clients was telling me that they have been using this, and I've been looking for it. So I found it today at Meijer, and this is Chobani. It's a coffee creamer, 0 sugar. This is sweetened with allulose and stevia, and it's milk based. It is pretty clean in ingredients, just like I was talking earlier to read the labels. Yeah, that's the ingredients there. If you want to pause, I hope it's not blurry. I don't have my glasses on. So just wanted to try this. I haven't opened it yet. I'll let you know how this is. But the chicken's going in the air fryer, and I'm gonna have some coleslaw and some green beans on the side. So I'll be back to show you all that in just a little bit. So all I have in here is butter, chopped up bacon, and some frozen green beans and some salt. And I am just stir frying them until they are cooked through and warmed through. Sometimes I'll add mushrooms to these, sometimes garlic powder, you know, whatever I feel like adding at the time, but that's what we're having as a side, along with some coleslaw. Okay, so it is almost 5 o'clock. We're having dinner, and this is dinner. Look at that. Big, crunchy, crispy chicken breast. Cooked it for about 35 minutes in the air fryer on 400 degrees after I sprayed it with the oil and the seasoned salt. And I have some green beans. I'm gonna flip this up so you can see it. And some coleslaw. The coleslaw dressing is in my cookbook. It's over on my website as well. It's so good. So I'm gonna go ahead and eat this. And Ed has the same thing. I'm gonna come back and close out this video. I'll see you then. So I'm back up in my office where I started this morning, just getting a little bit more work done. Dinner was delicious, very filling. I don't think I'm gonna have anything else to eat tonight. If I do get kind of snacky, I will just have some pork rinds. I like the tahini pork rinds by Max. I've showed the bag on here before. I get it at Walmart. I bought 4 bags today while I was at Walmart. A lot of times I don't have anything late in the evening, but sometimes if we're watching a movie and you just have that little urge to snack, I'll grab some of those. But other than that, I'm pretty much done. I'm having a sparkling water that is just plain. So I'm going to go ahead and get some work done here, and I will see you really soon. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe, and God bless.